All right, it is Saturday morning, right at 10:30 on the East Coast, so you know what time that is. Paid for play, coming at you live, your best bets for the college football slate, and we might have the best one of the year coming at you live today. So get your books locked and loaded, throw in those AirPods if you're doing other shit like me on the road, but we got you best bets covering 6 games and then our full cards at the end. If this is your first episode, you're tapping in for a best one. But as usual, we know all of our fellas and ladies are always tapping in because we got the best subscribers out there. If you're live with us on Twitter, jump over to Daily Bread Media on YouTube. If you'll be featured in today's show, drop your best bets. Then you can screen grab them and cloud them on Twitter because we all know you're the best handicappers out there. You're the ones who have the show. Then why are you watching us? But vibes are high, except for Roddy. I'll be the only comment I make, Roddy. Sorry. But other than that, make sure to give us that like, follow, retweet, and subscribe. We got the full cast back at you. JD held down the fort last week with Goose and Sosa, but it's good to be back live with the full guests of fellas. But Sam, beatdown was bad last week. How are the vibes?
Vibes are great. Like, if I had to pick one weekend to go to the beach, last weekend was it. I mean, LSU got absolutely annihilated. The Bengals lost on a last-second field goal. All my teams were down bad. The bets that I made before I left were not great, so I'm glad I didn't really even get into it. But yeah, we got engaged. It was a great weekend. It was a fantastic weekend. Vibes were high. We sat on the beach all week, and it was a fantastic weekend.
You take the notes and the from Goose, or was it? Did you go fly solo with that one there?
No, I just kind of it was all kind of winged together. I know my fiance probably won't love to hear that, but just kind of went with it. Just I was too nervous to actually like plan anything out. So, like, I just wrote it all in a note because I knew I was going to fuck it up trying to say it. So I was just like, here, read this. And then I got down on the knee. So, yeah, that was the most effective way I figured I could do it.
Well, hot seat, Roddy, myself now. Goose, I'm glad you're back from San Diego or LA, where the fuck you're flying into the field, Zach, and put in the trash cans. How you doing?
Yeah, that's my team now. The Padres are repping the Goose. Yeah, I'm great. The vibes are really high today. The sun is shining. I'm not even gonna be able to watch too much college football today. I'm going to my church after this. I'm about to cook 1,000 pierogies. I'm gonna be on the grill, like checking my bets on my phone. The vibes are gonna be so high.
Chef Goose. Goose.
Pierogies. Big time. Big fan. JD, how you doing? How'd the bets go last week? How's the show? How's everything?
I'm doing terrific until you asked me how my bets did last week because not too hot. It's 2 straight weeks where the DFS show is absolutely crushing it and the bets aren't. So I guess just don't listen to me this week and then go listen to the DFS video. But yeah, other than that, it's like the best slate in the world. I don't know about these guys skipping college football. That doesn't happen around here. So I'm going to be tuned in. We got the screens ready. It's going to be a great day.
I like how you just casually hummed over your $8,000 cash in DFS last week.
Yeah, 8.5. But then when you go reverse sweep on your bets, it just
to be exact, Rex, to be exact.
Yeah, but you can catch that live Thursdays on our channel to get all of JD's DFS advice, so you can be customizing, taking your advice on whatever you need to know if you're a DraftKings DFS player. And then Roddy, how we feeling?
Well, I'm feeling good. I want to shout out Baton Rouge, Louisiana in general. They were great to me last week. I was able to, be blessed enough to join from the field, and we went 2-0. So looking to do it again. It's homecoming, so got Vandy. You know what I'm saying? Really tough opponent. Great organization. Really raises the GPA of the conference very well. So, it'll be interesting today, but we know what the big one is, so we'll get into it later. But yeah, I'm doing good, man.
All right, Roddy, I know you're in the South, went through your place. Never knew country music at football games could be dope. This is one thing I learned last weekend.
Oh, what's
The
that?
place
What,
was a
who
place
sings
went
that Baton
electric
Rouge
when
song?
Dixieland Delight.
Garth
Who
Brooks,
said-
That was
baby.
wild.
And what's the name of it again?
Colin Baton Rouge.
Colin Baton Rouge. Okay, they played that song at 10 o'clock in the morning. And when I tell you, it was as if it was like a full concert out there. Like my cousin had me up at 7:30 in the morning listening to Young Boy. Okay, so that's kind of the atmosphere that was out there. All right, this is it, when the SEC said it just means more. Not lying.
It does.
Everyone wants to laugh at it until they go and they're like,
Not
"Ah,
lying.
shit."
Like
Yeah, no.
go to these games. Like
Yeah.
there were people camped out outside of the stadium till 9 o'clock that night, like just grilling, watching the other games. Like, so it means more.
Yeah,
does.
I mean, I've gone with my uncle. It was the 2018 Alabama game. We left and we got there at like 6 o'clock Friday night and stayed there till Sunday at noon.
Yeah, like easy money.
Well, when you don't have NFL teams down there, I guess that's what happens.
Yeah, you're right.
Saints.
Oh,
Yeah,
you know
when you don't have
LSU's
an
bigger than
NFL
the
team
Saints.
down there.
Oh yeah, I know, but I mean,
Yeah,
it's an
yeah.
hour drive. It's like
Yeah.
Shout out Aaron Brooks, but let's get into today's episode. We're live on Twitter, so make sure you're following us at Paid for Play. If you're commenting there, we can't really shout them out yet, so StreamYard and Twitter hate each other. Jump over to YouTube. We can drop them out, but we'll start it off 6 games, then our full run of best bets. We got the big noon game. We'll start it off on Fox. Penn State +7 going to Michigan, where it opened at a big number, like 10 or 9 at some shops, and it dropped down to 7. And I don't want to say you need to have goldfish memory big time if you're back in Michigan here, but last week getting a dub and getting very ugly might be the best way for you to get this short number. Who wants to take this one first?
I'll go. I mean, I love Penn State here. I think they're the more battle-tested team. I think Michigan hasn't really played anybody up to this point. I mean, their non-conference slate was incredibly weak, and they've played Iowa, Indiana, and Maryland so far. I mean, I know Auburn's not a good football team this year, but that environment that Penn State had to go into, that was a real, true road environment. Purdue at the beginning of the season, not Auburn, but still a good road environment. So I think Penn State being a more battle-tested team already, they have an experienced 6-year quarterback. I don't think he's the better quarterback in this game, but I think he's the one that you need in a game like this. Like, it's a top 10 matchup. J.J. McCarthy last year kind of put it on the ground in some of the big games and had some key turnovers. So I like Penn State's defense. I think their defensive backs are some of the best in the country. I think they can load the box and make JJ beat him through the air, and I just don't know if he can do it. I'll see it. I'll believe it when I see it, but right now I'll take the more battle-tested team. I'll take Penn State +7.
Yep. I'm glad you put your little toppings or whatever, how Penn State is battle tested, just because they've gone on the road twice. The quality might not be there, but yeah, Michigan, they played absolutely nobody. JD, what are you liking here?
I agree with Sam. He made a lot of good points. This Michigan team just hasn't proved it to me yet, so we'll see. Maybe today's the day, but Penn State's battle tested. Their defense is good. Should be a close game without too much scoring. Michigan's offense is just not explosive enough. They've been moving the ball, but again, it's against bad teams. So they're 5th in success rate. Cool. They're also bottom 5 in explosiveness. So they've had no explosiveness against bad teams. So we're expecting them to suddenly be explosive, something they haven't done all year against a better Penn State defense. Maybe, but again, I just haven't seen it. So I like the points. Trusting James Franklin in a big game, is that something I want to do? Absolutely not whatsoever. But it's 7 points. That's a lot. Like if this was 3, maybe it's a different conversation.
No one has touched on the total yet, where this feels way too high for me. We got the dog barking, so that could be a good line for Akbar right there. Roddy, what are you liking?
Yeah, I would have to go with Sam with the points with Penn State. I just feel like, yes, of course, Michigan's opponents, obviously were not up to their standard. I did watch the Maryland game, though, and really it kind of stood out because, I know Lil Tua is good, and I hate we have to call him Lil Tua. I wish I knew the kid's name. But
Talia.
I really think that Michigan, they really have to play somebody that's going to be physical with them in the trenches. And I think that's what Penn State's going to do. Now, again, I'm with Sam too. Their quarterback really scares me because he can really ruin it for them. But again, they've been in an environment at Auburn. Of course, they're going to be playing a better quarterback. Obviously, the big house is way bigger than Jordan Hare, but I still think they can get it. I really do. So I'll take Penn State with the points, but I'm not really confident in it either because I also do think they're due for a letdown, but we'll see.
Uh-oh, Goose. Are you going to be leaving me here on the island? Do you like Penn State as well? The chat seems to love Penn State, so I think it was Roger who made the comment about Harbaugh in big games, top 10 games. Goose, what do you like?
So first off, the Big House is the most overrated arena in college football. That place does not get loud. There's so many people, and it's beautiful. It's the most beautiful stadium I've ever been to, but they're quiet. So I just wanted to get that off
Goose
my
has
chest.
been there.
We're clipping this.
Well,
We are clipping this.
No, that wasn't the Fire Pit game, but Goose been on the field. Continue.
Yeah, look. I personally don't like either of these teams being a Rutgers fan, but I gotta zone in on this. So Michigan wears teams down. They're bigger. They run the ball. They're not explosive. They get 4 yards, 4 yards, 4 yards, and then in the fourth quarter they get 5 yards. So I don't see how they can physically wear down Penn State, though, because Penn State, they're a bigger team than a team like Maryland. Maryland's more spread team. So I don't think that Michigan will be able to play their style and wear down Penn State. I also agreed with Sam. This Penn State secondary is really good. So you can load the box against Michigan. And they're going to eventually have to throw it a little, which isn't how Michigan's going to really want to play. I don't see Penn State winning, but I see it being a close game. Ultimately, I can't trust their quarterback to go full-on money line, but I think this is going to be like a 3-4 point game where Michigan pulls it out at the very end. And, they're not going to be able to physically punish Penn State, I don't think, like how they would against these smaller teams.
Well, throw me on Rex Island for this one here. Not
Let's
making
go.
Michigan the 7 official, but I think it might be a little ugly for State today. I think the under is the easiest play out there on the board today. I have no idea how 7 touchdowns get scored. You can kick as many field goals as you want to help out that point, but I don't think we see many touchdowns. And Michigan's defense, sure, they haven't played anyone yet, but I think this could be their prove-it game. And I saw the comment that Clifford hasn't thrown an INT yet. He might not have to throw an INT. I think this offense could just spur out that much, and the line play is going to determine it. But Michigan's line is going to give it to him. Penn State hasn't seen a line like that. Sure, you can say you've seen Auburn's a little bit, but I just think Auburn's that weak where you can't really compare that game into here other than a tough environment. So, sure, you get that one, but Goose is saying it's not tough. I still like Michigan with the points here, but not official. Make sure we don't get a show mush. You're welcome. Now,
Yeah, exactly.
we got the game where if you were smart, everyone knew Bryce was starting if you follow college football. And if you're betting Bama now, you're missing out on a decent amount of points, which is kind of rough. But will it matter? First half is at that key, clutch, lovely single-digit number here, going into Rocky Top, where, I don't know, the story could write itself here. In the environment of every being there last week, I mean, Bama just pissed down their leg left and right, and that's what happens when I think a solid defensive coordinator can scheme for Milroe, where he's just raw. He's going to be probably pretty filthy next season or in 2 seasons, but first time you're going to get defense completely schemed for you. Might not go as tough. 2 fumbles, definitely real rough as well. Turnovers led to all of Texas A&M's points here, so I think that type of game is the perfect thing for Saban to go in and roll this one and win by 20. But who's taking this one first? And that would be Roddy. What are you liking here?
This game has ruined my life. I tweeted it on Tuesday. I have no idea how to judge this game. I knew Bryce was playing because it started out at 7.5, so that obviously told me
Yep.
that he was playing. Um,
All the money's on the Vols too, which makes it even grosser.
it's like 95% of the money is on the Vols. The fact that this line is now up to 9 points is ruining my life as well. What the fuck? Now, analyzing this, I would say that, obviously Tennessee does the one thing that always beats Alabama. No matter where you look back at the Saban tenure, teams that have been able to get the ball down the field can beat Alabama. But the thing is, they usually have a Minka Fitzpatrick, an Eddie Jackson, Trevon Diggs, a Patrick Surtain back there. Okay, so it's difficult to do. All right, that's why it's been so hard to pull off. But I love Kool-Aid. I love the other pieces of the secondary. I don't think that they are going to fare well against Jalen Hyatt. I mean, I really love this kid. And last week you saw what he did against, single coverage. And Saban's going to want to play man. So with that being said, I'm taking Bama first half, man. I have to. And like Rex said, it's at the 6 right now for me. I think they're just going to run the ball like a lot. Like it's just going to be a straight old school run the ball. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to go off because the linebacker play of Tennessee is okay. I really think missing Jalen McCullough is going to be huge for them as well. So I'm not betting the full game
Tillman,
because I
think,
can't
is the
see
biggest
Tennessee
miss.
coming in through the back door. I really can. But I think Alabama's going to come out and know that this is one of those games that we can't fuck around in. Like we cannot from minute one. So give me Alabama -6, man, in the first half. That's it.
Well, Roddy, I'm doubling down with the first half and the full game here because I think, like I said, that's the biggest part. And what you said is them getting the ball down the field. Is Tennessee going to be able to have the time to get that? I don't think they will. And to your point, I think Gibbs goes nuts today.
Mm-hmm.
He is one of the most patient running backs I've ever seen. The ability for him just to grab the ball, do that little stutter step, and wait to see where the hole is unreal. And at Georgia Tech, you saw it 1 or 2 times. But if he gets the corner or the edge on you, dunzo.
I mean, look, I'm a Saints fan. You know who he looks like.
AK.
Yeah.
He looks a little bit like Lev Bell to me as well, but just from running wise of his patience finding the hole. He is another level, and I think that's a game changer here. Tennessee, I think Eddie or Beer Guy said his comment there. That's why you're giving the public all on Tennessee too. I mean, I got it at the 7.5, but I'll rock it with the 8.5 for the show today, and then I got the 6 with Roddy as well. So I'll make it official what the game time lines are. Who's back in the Vols? Who wants to go against Bama here?
I think I do.
You think?
So, one of my best friends is an Alabama fan, and I love the kid, but, he keeps complaining all year, oh, we don't have the wide receivers this year to win a national championship. Oh, we're a single-point favorite, or we're not a double-digit point favorite. This is the end of the world. That's kind of how –
spoiled.
Yeah, it's very spoiled at the Alabama, and maybe they don't have the receivers for this game. Maybe Tennessee's offense will be able to do enough to actually pull this one out. Yeah, the Tennessee offense speaks for itself, and this is a huge rivalry game. I've been hearing for months, I can't wait for Hate Week. I can't wait for Hate Week. It's the cigar game, and this is Tennessee's best team that I can remember. I just think in the big rivalry spot where Alabama is a great dominant team, but they might not be like Alabama. I think Tennessee pulls this one out in a crazy atmosphere.
They might not have the wide receivers this season, but we saw what Bryce Young has done for this offense.
He's amazing.
Yes, Bama on the road has been a complete question mark offensive-wise as well. So that's where is a second grain of concern here. But, Sam, what are you liking?
I like the over. That's just, I mean, I don't know. I've been thinking all week kind of how to approach this game. I don't know if like I can pick a side. I'm going to listen to Rocky Top 100 times a day.
I love that song, bro. I love that song. I have to
I
admit,
hated
that's
it last
song.
week, but it is so goddamn catchy. Whenever they did the video of the dude dancing to Rocky Top yesterday, it was fantastic. We tweeted it this morning. But yeah, so last week I was down in Destin, Florida, and you would have thought it was fucking Knoxville, Tennessee. There was Tennessee shit everywhere, dude. And I almost got I got the bar riled up that I was at last week because I don't care if we lose. Go beat Alabama. If it's not now, when is it going to happen? You all have been saying it feels like 98 for years now, and guess what? It hasn't. So fucking nut up and win a goddamn game against Alabama. Just do it one time in your life. Just get it done. If it's not now, it's never going to happen. So just stop pretending and finally get it done. Go win the goddamn game.
Let's go. That was his Michael Irvin speech, baby. We're clipping that too.
Go win the game. I'll take Tennessee money line this is going to be a live spot for me because if I see what I want to see, I'm going to take Tennessee money line. I don't know if I'm scared. I'm going to be in church tomorrow before the game, but I mean, we might play it before. So,
I'm going to be in church during the game praying.
So, yeah, exactly.
Sam's just going to be seeing Will Anderson Jr. and his nightmares left and right, sacking the quarterback. JD, how you wrapping this one up?
I'm not going to stir more up on the side, but yeah, everything to me looks like Tennessee because Bama's played 3 actual football teams, in my opinion, and they've looked terrible twice. And now Bryce Young, I mean, if he's healthy, sure, but it just seems like a close game overall to me with what I'm hearing. If Tennessee had Cedric Tillman, when we're talking about those deep shots, I agree. These Alabama corners, I like what Roddy said. Not quite what we've seen in some years past. So, but he's out, and Brew McCoy, I mean, he's not Cedric Tillman. Let's just say that. He's been having some good games, but we'll see.
He looked nice last week.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
DB's kind of LSU secondary isn't anything to write home about, but I
don't think fine. He's fine. In Hyatt's fine, but if he had all 3 of those, then we're really talking, right? I like the Gibbs play. I'm playing Gibbs in DFS pretty much everywhere, and his numbers are too low, like 88.5 rushing yards. I like that. 26.5 receiving yards. I really like that because they're 26.5 is way too low. Their wide receivers have not stepped up at all, and Tennessee's defense. It's like a glaring weakness, in my opinion, at safety, and now one of them's out, and a glaring weakness at linebacker. And I just don't really know how you're supposed to contain Gibbs over 4 quarters for me. So that's my favorite play in this one. 19.5 fantasy points on Prize Picks as well.
This might become a Gibbs Stan account soon.
Oh yeah, his anytime touchdown is at -460. Just for that, yeah.
I was about to say the backup put the ball on the ground real quick and then see the field for 2 possessions. So when that happens too, definitely helps his playing time out there. Oh, yeah. Let's get to the next game where we got some Big 12 or Big 8, whatever you want to fucking call it now. At this point, whatever happens to that conference, we'll see. 2 undefeated. Who would have thought? OK State going to TCU, both 5-0. 4.5 point spread here for the Purple guys, and it's tough to go against them. But how long can this stay this hot is really my concern. And Oklahoma State always feels like you're never ever sold on them, but they make it right to the Big 12 championship game or just right about there every single season regardless. So you can say what you want about Gundy. He gets the results on the field. Love the field, weirdo, but it is what it is. There, Goose, let's hear it.
So Oklahoma State, like last year, they had the good offense, but they had a great defense with it. And now it took me a couple weeks, but their defense isn't it this year because Jim Knowles went to Ohio State, and we shouted him out at Ohio State earlier in the season. And maybe he really is one of the best defensive coordinators in all of the nation because this Oklahoma State defense went from like pretty darn great last year to this year. And then we've seen TCU play. Same thing. Their offense is amazing. Sonny Dykes, they got young Riley. They're cooking it up. And it's an over game for me. I can't put on the spread. I'm not the biggest fan of Spencer Sanders, the quarterback for Oklahoma State, because he's playing amazing this year, but I've seen too many suspect games throughout his career. I think this is like his 5th year playing now. And he's playing amazing, but can he keep it up? I don't know. So I don't want to take anything on the spread. I just think this is a big over spot with the way these two teams are playing. Classic Big 12 football.
Sam, that was the closest thing to that Yankees meme I've seen in a minute.
That's what I was going for. I mean, I will go down swinging. It's the same way with Texas A&M this year, fading them. I'll go down swinging on that, and I'll go down swinging on fading Spencer Sanders in big games. I lost on the Baylor game. I'm going to take my shot again. I'm on TCU spread. They've been hot this year. Their offense has been absolutely phenomenal. They've been hot ever since that SMU game. I think that kind of kick-started their season, and the Oklahoma game, they rode that momentum right into Kansas. Big win on the road for them last week. I know it was a push, but I mean they've been a great team this year. They've been really fun to watch. I'm on the over as well. I don't see how this stays under 70 points. I think this is going to be a good old-fashioned Big 12 shootout. I like I mean, I agree with everything that's been said. Like, Oklahoma State is probably one of the most underrated programs over the last decade. Like, Gundy's just consistently winning. They win 10 games, 9 games a year. And, I mean, they'll probably be in the Big 12 championship this year. They have Texas at home next week. Like, that's going to be a huge game also. I don't know if it's exactly a look-ahead spot, but, I mean, like, it just feels like that game is going to be more important than this one. Like that game next week, it'll be hard to get up twice. So, I mean, if they come out this week, I'll probably fade them next week. But, yeah, I do like TCU in this spot at home. I think it's biggest game in their program in a long time, and I think they'll stay hot.
JD, what do you like in here?
I agree with the points. I think we were on the Oklahoma State defense taking a humongous step back earlier than most. I guess the bowl game against Notre Dame, where they got lit up by that terrible offense. Probably should have told you all you needed to know. But, by now we know they stink. Quentin Johnston props, I guess, is what I have to add to this. He had 17 targets a week ago. He's a potential future first-round NFL wide receiver, right? Playing in the Sonny Dykes offense against an Oklahoma State defense that has been dreadful. Not even just like bad. They have been absolutely dreadful. And he's at 70.5 receiving yards after going for 200 last week. So I like that. And he's plus 110 to get a touchdown. I don't see why those wouldn't hit here.
Roddy, wrap it up for us.
Yeah. So Sam's gonna have to check my temperature, because I'm actually going to rely on Spencer Sanders, but I'm not going to rely on him to win the game or cover the spread. I'm going to rely on him to score points. And I think that Oklahoma State's, to go along with the theme of we think the over is going to hit at 31.5, I think that is a tad bit low. I think they can score with TCU. Of course, nobody's looking to play defense in the Big 12. Like, that's kind of what the brand is. Okay. But I really do trust Spencer to put up at least 32 points. Like, that's all I need him to do. I guess since I called him Lil Tua earlier in the show, I have to call him Lil Lincoln. I think he's going to, definitely put up points. And yeah, like JD said, like, Oklahoma State's defense is bad. Like, them corners is so. Yeah, give me Oklahoma State over 31.5. It's at minus 105, and that's it. I'm not touching nothing else.
All right. We got 3 games down. We got 3 games left on our full cards right up at that half-hour mark. So we only got about 30 minutes max left in today's episode. So you got plenty of time to get what you need to do on this lovely Saturday. If you're on Twitter, hop over to YouTube if you want to be featured in today's show. Make sure to give us that like, follow, retweet, and subscribe. We appreciate all the comments you guys dropping out there. Make sure to be screen grabbing them and clowning them on Twitter when they win. Oh, this game, NC State, at Syracuse. Goose, give me it. Like, I want to back the points here with Syracuse, but I just feel so nasty doing it that I kind of just been trying to ignore that this game's happening so I don't have to watch it, or sweat and watch it. I'm definitely going to be watching it, but Goose, what do you like here?
So first off, I didn't look this morning, but I'm assuming Devin Leary is not playing. That's what I'm
He's
going to
not.
go based off of.
Yeah, he's not.
Syracuse has a good run defense, but two of their main games were against Purdue and Virginia. Those are just big passing teams. So, like, I'm not fully buying that this Syracuse run defense is a steel curtain. We know about the NC State defense. Drake Thomas, I think he's going to be a first-round pick linebacker. That dude gets all the tackles. He's going to control the game, and Syracuse is going to want to run the ball, and he'll probably get 12 tackles today. This NC State defense, they get interceptions and they stop the run. I just think that this is a big step up for Clemson. They 5-0 Syracuse. That's a shout out. Like, they're usually not 5-0, but I just think that this game is going to be too much for them. NC State's defense, they held DJ Uiagalelei, I love saying his name, to his fewest yards all season at 210 yards. And Will Shipley, who's averaging 5.9 yards per carry, only got 4.3 yards per carry against this NC State defense. They're the real deal. I think they can win without their starting quarterback. And you know me, I love special teams. This NC State kicker, he's 7 for 7 from 40-plus yards this season. He hasn't missed a kick all season. It's a 42.5 point total. Every point's going to count. And this NC State kicker is the real deal. The Syracuse kicker, 2 for 3 from 40-plus. That's pretty decent. Hasn't really been tested. 3 for 7 last year. The NC State has the better kicker in this matchup. And when you have such a low point total, every point matters. I'm taking NC State on the money line without their starting quarterback. I'm just going to assume he's not playing.
Feels like an all-time mush, you saying he hasn't missed a kick yet. So I'm sure his game's going to come down to a big kick, and he might just miss it. So, just jinxed him. So, Roddy, JD, you all got anything on this one?
I just want to say the irony is Syracuse's kicker actually won the Groza Award way back in 2018. He's been there forever. He's like regressed every single year. It's very odd, but yeah, he actually won a Groza Award.
Wow.
And Goose, I did want to point out the advanced stats actually agree with you playing that boo-boo competition. Syracuse, their rush defense, 106th in rushing PPA per play and 107th in success rate. So, I think I agree. I think NC State's defense is the best unit on the field.
This feels like one of those games where if it was Friday night game in the Carrier Dome, then absolutely you hammer Syracuse. But, I mean, Sunday in a big-time spot or Saturday in a big-time spot, sorry. Just feels like one of those games where I'll believe it if I see it, but I don't have anything on this game. Roddy, you have anything?
No, not specifically. I would lean actually to NC State on the money line, if we're being honest, though. I think the defense is really going to play. And of course, Syracuse, 5-0, they got the spirit. They're at home. I get it. But Syracuse tends to make a lot of these games where, maybe they should be favored. Maybe they should show that they're finally here or the program is finally going in the direction they want. And then they come and shit the bed. And I think this is one of those situations. So I see this as like Goose said, it could come down to a field goal at the end of the game, and I'm trusting a better kicker. But I still think NC State is going to be able to run the ball. I don't think that Syracuse is going to. I mean, while the first half might be, a good effort, I think in the trenches, NC State has the offensive line to wear them down. So I would lean money line on NC State, man. I really would. I think they're good.
Anything
Good to
from you,
go to
Rex?
the next game, Sam?
Oh, yeah.
Nah, I don't got much for that one, to be honest. Here, I like this number when you're laying Clemson -3. 4.5 is feeling a little gross now because the public's starting to jump on it. and it's starting to make me think there's a potential hungry dog here. It's worth taking the points in the Noles but anytime, put faith in the Noles to kind of come crashing back down to earth, and this could 100% be a spot here. Who wants to take this one first?
I could grab
Goose.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, Goose, we'll keep leading you off. You're the point today. Keep just dishing it to you. You keep hitting them. So
Look, I don't want to overthink this game. I'm just looking at Florida State's last 2 games. They lost by 2, even though it was on the road to NC State. They lost by 10 to Wake Forest. Then you look at Clemson's last few games. They beat NC State. They beat Wake Forest. Like, Clemson, I think I'm going to call them the most underrated team in the nation. I get it. They're top 14, top 5 team. This is a unit right here. They're not turning the ball over this year like last year. Their offense isn't great by any means, but it's manageable. They're grinding out games. And then look at the Boston College game last week for Clemson. They're winning at halftime 10-3. Clemson's winning 10-3. The second half they put up 21. They win 31-3. They just wear down teams. They're the most physical ACC team out there. And yeah, I mean, maybe if you want to look at the first half for Florida State, because Clemson just gets better as the game goes on. And I just think they're going to pull it out again by 7, by 10 points. They're on their way to the playoffs this year.
yeah, I could go ahead, JD.
I was gonna say I don't think Florida State's very good. Like I think there's a perception of them I'm not really understanding, like that they're at the elite. Like I don't know if it's the name or what's going on here. Because like their offense, the Norvell offense needs to run the ball to work, and you're playing Clemson's defensive line. So unless you think Travis is gonna light them up for 300, like the Clemson's secondary is, kind of back to normal after that Wake game where everyone was hurt. So I don't really understand it. And then I'm looking at my sheets are all telling me Florida State stinks defensively, so Clemson should move the ball. So, I mean, an upset could happen for Clemson. Definitely wouldn't shock me at some point this year, but I'm not believing in Florida State in this matchup.
Yep. That 4.5 just makes it tough to hang. The flat 3 was great early in the week. Are you scared, JD, to lay that 4.5 or?
I mean, I'm not playing it, so yeah, I just Clemson, I still want to see more of DJU. Like everyone's on him, and the offense is okay, but that's it.
I was about to say, if anyone but Scam was back there, you'd probably be backing them, right? Roddy, what do you like here?
Yeah, I'm with JD on the point that he just said. Like Clemson's offense is not, even against a bad defense. I don't want to trust them. Like it's just not like they should have went and probably scored 60 points on Wake Forest, but they didn't. Okay, so and like I said, I don't know if it was 2 episodes ago, DJ literally stands in the pocket and he's like a statue, man. Like pressure will be in his face. He'll just be like I don't understand. So, but Florida State too is just, I mean, offensively, I don't think they're going to put up much of a fight. I think that LSU game was a total aberration. That seems like 2 years ago, okay, compared to what we've been seeing lately from Florida State. So I would actually lean to the under just because Florida State's not going to score against Clemson's defense at all. And then Clemson is just going to be mid offensively. So it's just going to be don't watch this game. There's so many other things that you could be doing with your time at 7:30 other than watching this game. So don't do it.
Like cooking pierogies.
100 of them, actually.
Bro, Goose, if I don't get pierogies there tomorrow and you keep bringing them up, I'm going to drive down and beat your ass. But Sam, how are you wrapping it up?
I'm with Goose here. Don't overthink it. Just play Clemson -4.5, man. I don't believe. I think DJU is going to have some good plays with his legs. We've seen Florida, like Jaden Daniels was able to move the ball pretty well against Florida State with his legs. And I just don't think they're going to get much against the defense. Like I know it's a good spot. I'm sure Florida State's going to be rocking the home crowd, but I don't think they have what it takes to pull off the upset. I think Clemson's kind of rolling, and they're getting a little disrespected in the gambling market with some of these lines that they're getting. So, yeah, give me the 4.5. I just don't think – I think they might cruise to a 2-touchdown win.
So I heard Sam and Roddy, DJU. It's DJ Uwe Ungalele. It rolls off the tongue. Put some respect on the man's name.
I'm trying to keep
Uwe
the
I
show
Ungalele.
respect
concise.
this
Goose.
name. I don't respect this game, baby.
It rolls off the tongue, and then it rolls off the tongue, and then it rolls off the tongue, and then you finally
He
said his
rolls
long
off the face of the earth hopefully soon for Clemson. God damn, he's still.
Man, we got Matt Taint going crazy today. But Sam, give us what we got. One more, and then our
One
full
more,
cards.
sorry.
You're all good. Woo! They're giving Utah this much respect. 2-loss Utah. JD was the biggest Utah fan coming into the season. This is the put up or shut up game for Utah if I'm going to keep backing them or not backing them. Here, USC kind of had an easy one last week with Wazoo, took care of business. But, JD, I don't need to talk this one much up more. I know you're pumped as anything for this one here.
Yeah, so the whole reason I like Utah is that they're a very solid program, right? And they've been underrated for a long time, and then the rest of the Pac-12 is just overrated because they stink, right? But that's not the case this year because this line is it's 3.5. And I know I said last week I'm betting Utah this week. It's 3.5. I think USC's defense is absolutely terrible. I think if they get to the playoffs, they're going to lose by 55 points. But Utah, they just haven't played well this year. I said it last week against UCLA. They haven't played well. I'm not playing them until I see them play well. This is the perfect spot for them to play well because in October and November at home, Utah's been one of the best bets in all of college football. Mm-hmm. A lot of those bets have not been with a hook against the quarterback like Caleb Williams and a coach like Lincoln Riley who's going to put up points. So I'm not betting Utah. Everyone's expecting me. I'm expecting a big game out of Tavion Thomas. I'm playing his props. I can't do it. 3.5. I cannot do that. No, I think they're hurting. Like the tight end, their best playmakers, their tight end. Andy Ludwig uses the tight end. 2 of their top 3 tight ends are out. They can't stretch the field. I guess maybe USC can just put like 10 dudes in the box and see what happens if they have any smarts defensively, which I guess I don't really know that for sure yet. We'll see. Like this true freshman kid, he's like weighs 170 pounds, and he's absolutely torching USC last week when he did nothing all year. So I don't see why USC can't move or Utah can't move the ball here. So that's why I like Thomas for sure.
Chuck, last season, USC, I believe, has struggled in Utah. Correct, JD? Because I believe USC got the win last season, and Chuck was saying, doesn't USC struggle with Utah on the road? And I believe other than the last time they were there, my biggest thing here, I was expecting you to be all over this Utah defense because I don't think USC has seen any type of defense like this. Caleb Williams has these pristine passing numbers because I don't think he's seen a secondary. I think it's going to get a little tough. I agree. USC could be the easy play here, especially when you get the hook on that. But I think this is going to be sweaty. I expect Utah to control them defensively a lot better than any team has so far this season. And we're really going to see what USC has on offense. Sam,
I got 2 plays.
This screams a dumb brain game. Yeah, this screams done. You got 2. Perfect. Let's hear it.
Yeah, buddy. Utah minus 3.5 over 65.
Yes.
Like, let's just watch a fucking football game. Let's have a great game in the Pac-12. It's great. I mean, we'll actually be able to see it because it's on Fox, which is nice. I won't have to go through some illegal stream site. But yeah, I like Utah at home. I don't trust USC's defense. And give me Utah in a shootout. I think it's going to go back and forth. I think Clark Phillips has a good chance to earn some real money today going up against Jordan Addison and Mario Williams. So I think those two against the Utah secondary. I think Cam Ryden's going to have a great game. But yeah, I think it's going to be a shootout. I think the over 65 is a little too low. Utah at home's been very good, so give me Utah.
Bro, I just checked out these helmets.
Oh, yeah.
Utah will debut these new helmets dedicated to Ty Jordan and Aaron Lowe for tonight's game against USC. Both guys died of gunshot wounds in 2020 and 2021.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they're hard too. Like they got the little logo on the back of them. Hard.
Yeah.
Lock
And that's
it.
why
Aaron,
I'm with Sam.
Lock it in.
That is why I am with Sam. Give it to me -3.5. This is the game. Lincoln Riley. Look, I've watched them this year, and I think they've been really good. I think it's within Lincoln Riley, though, to sometimes get a little cute, okay? And I think the cuteness might not be what's needed for a road game in Utah. I know he's new to the conference, so he's not really experienced on, some of these matchups. I get it. But I think they're going to get it done. Like, I really think the veteran coach, the veteran team, of course, USC's defense is not fucking, it's just, I don't think it's awful because I think, there can be improvements made. I think, of course, new philosophy, new coach, all of that shit is going to matter. But I still think Utah is going to have to show them, man. You still going to have to, straighten up and answer to the king. So give me Utah -3.5, man. I think all the energy is going their way, and I think nobody is going to look their way because USC is the flashy object, even though they're favored. But give me Utah, yeah.
All right. One last thing before we get to our best bets, our full cards of the day. JD, we're going to get all your fantasy props, your Debbie stuff, anything you want to give out. Where can they get all that stuff at?
Yeah, I'm the lead CFF writer. So if you're into college fantasy football, DFS, all that stuff, you want breakdowns for the midweek slates, go ahead and check out Devy Watch. They've got some great Devy writers there as well. But I'm the college guy there. And then if you like props, fantasy points, we got a full slate of props. I got 8 up today. We were on a 20-6 run last week. I forget the final tally. It was still decent, but decent is not what we're going for. We're going for 8-0, 7-1. We want that shmoney. So let's get it.
Perfect. So let's go through our full card. I'll give mine out first. Please, I'm doing this off my phone, so if I get the juice a little bit off, it's on me. But I'm doing the Bama double up with the first half and the full game at the -6 and the -8.5. So those are the only 2 plays from the slate that we had. I got the Oklahoma and the Kansas over. If I had some cojones, I'd be taking that +10 for Kansas. But I believe that's sitting at 68 for the over. You guys check me there.
I grabbed it at 65.5 this morning.
All right,
Yeah.
66. I got it 66 now. I knew it was a round number like that. This Oklahoma defense is bottom 15. Unless Venables just has them play ultra simple, it's going to work in the long run. But this year, it sure ain't working, and I don't think it's going to work today, even with Kansas's quarterback out. Kansas's defense ain't anything to write home about. Give me the over. Give me UNC -7, -110. Just complete fade of Duke. If UNC has anything in them, this one's a beatdown. Now we get to the dogs. Memphis +6, -110. Not trusting ECU. Rice +4, -1 trend. Not trusting FAU. And the hungry dog of the day, we got Wazoo on the money line, a +145 going into Oregon State. You just had their miracle in Minneapolis type of moment there. Give me the road dog here coming in to break down all those hypes. Oregon State, I just think this tough schedule is finally going to start catching up with them here. Great program turning it around, giving them a lot more respect than me just fading them blindly 3 seasons ago. But I like Wazoo here. It's all going to be on Ward. He's got it for me today. I believe that's exactly a 6-pack as well. Boom. Sam, we got CVS receipt.
Oh yeah, we got CVS receipt today.
We got to get that engagement money. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. I got paid for a wedding, so picks are going to start rolling, baby. This 6 and 5. This is not going to be 6 and 5 anymore.
We want that open bar, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, I need it. So we can't keep losing picks. So we'll recap. I got a lot from the 6 that we had. I got Penn State +7, Bama Tennessee over 65.5, Oklahoma State, TCU over 68, TCU minus 4.5. Clemson minus 4.5. Utah minus 3.5, and the over in that one as well, over 65. For plays not mentioned yet, Ole Miss minus 16 against Auburn. I think Auburn is a dead dog. I've said it for a while. I think Brian Harsin is fired next week. I think Lane Kiffin is vying for every potential SEC job that's not Ole Miss. So I think he's going to try to put it on and embarrass them this year. I think he tried to do the same thing against LSU last year. It's Ole Miss at home. Auburn's dead. I think Auburn's going to be, or I think Ole Miss is going to run for a lot of yards in this game. I think maybe Zach Moss and the freshman, his name slips my mind right now, but
Quinshon
Junkins, yes. I think they're going to go crazy. I think Jackson Dart gets in on the running action, but I like Ole Miss big here. I'm going to go Kansas +9. Just keep riding the wave, baby. They pushed last week, but they keep covering. And Oklahoma is as dead as a program is right now. So I'm with Rex on the over 65.5. Just grabbed that before the show. I'm not sure what the number's at now. Sounds like 66. And then we're going to close it out. Maryland, Indiana over 61.5. We're on a lot of overs today. It's going to be a lot of points scored. Great day for college football. Let's go win some fucking money.
Goose.
Man, this is my ugliest card yet, I think.
Sometimes those are the most profitable. Let's hear it.
So I'm on the TCU Oklahoma State over 68. And I'm on NC State +3. I'd even go money line, but and then it was Clemson minus 4.5. We talked about those games. But these next three, it feels gross, but Old Dominion +11 against Coastal Carolina. Coastal's a wagon, but Old Dominion's run defense is pretty legit. So I think Old Dominion keeps this close, and Coastal hasn't been blowing out teams. UConn +9.5 against Ball State. Look, Steven, we all know Steven from college basketball. He's putting me on UConn, and besides the games where they're playing like Michigan or I think it was NC State, they're playing pretty decent football. So give me them +9.5. And then my last one, Kent State +7.5 versus Toledo. I think Kent State is in the running for a MAC championship this year. Give me the points with them. I think they win it outright, but I'm just going to take it +7.5. Even though Toledo is looked at by many as the best MAC team, I think Kent State will show it today.
JD, what do you got for us?
All right. So I, too, am on Utah. Utah State, that is, baby. -11. And give me the team total over 28.5. They're playing Colorado State. That's a bad team, folks. I'm also going to take Arizona +14.5 and the over 72 in their game against Washington. Washington just been an absolute cash cow to the over all year long. Both these teams are all offense, no defense. So in a shootout, I'm going to take the points. Over Notre Dame -16.5 against Stanford. I think the Stanford program is an absolute embarrassment. They had their chance to get a win last week, could not do it, and they have one of the worst rush defenses I've ever seen. So Notre Dame's going to run for 300 yards and hang a number on Stanford. Should be pretty easy 30-point victory if this Notre Dame team is any good at all. Game of the week, New Mexico versus New Mexico State. What a rivalry this is. Everyone will have this on their main screens while they're watching on their phones, the Bama-Tennessee game or whatever's playing at that time. I'm going to take New Mexico -7 and the under 38.5. I actually am a big fan of the coaching staff at New Mexico. Rocky Long is their defensive coordinator, and he's like one of my favorite coaches in college football. What he did at San Diego State, this guy was a monster. Now he's a defensive coordinator. They got a great defense. New Mexico State's not going to score, and they lost to Florida International, for Christ's sake. So give me them there. I like Rex's Washington State call. Oregon State is just not good. They almost lost to Stanford and had a long touchdown at the end. So give me Washington State +3. And then a couple props I did not shout out. I'm also with Rex on that. I think Duke's defense is terrible. They've played no quarterbacks. Look at the teams they've played. Just no teams that can throw the ball. I think they faced 4 teams that are bottom 10 in points per game. I think they faced 4 of them, which is pretty incredible. So Drake May is going to hang a number.
Temple was one of them.
I'm going to take Temple's definitely one of them. And, man, they looked really great this week when they played, didn't they? So I'm going to take Drake May over 316.5 passing yards and Josh Downs over 85.5. I think those are bargains. They should score 50 here.
Love that when I'm aligned with JD without even seeing any of the sheets from the guys today. Roddy, wrap it up for us. Put a bow on today's fantastic college football slate.
Well, we are going with our first parlay of the season. Okay, it's not like a 19-legger. Okay, it's only 2 legs. It's a quick little pow money grab. Okay, we got Clemson money line and we got Mississippi State money line. That's going to be plus 145. Oh, by the way, the people are back in the comments. By the way, so don't post it, JD.
Let me throw that on real quick, Roddy. Yeah, hold that thought, Roddy. Yeah, I'm gonna put this on.
But. Do you guys know who is the leader all time in completions in SEC history?
Who history?
In SEC history, the all-time leader in completions.
Will Rogers.
It is one Will Rogers. Yes. Hashtag till your arm fall off. So give me them. I really Kentucky. Man, what a fall from grace, man. First couple weeks this season, I was rooting for them. Will Levis' finger looked like he was throwing up gang signs. So I can't do it, man. Even if he's playing, give me those 2 on the money line. We did say Penn State plus 7, so I'll go ahead and make that one official as well. Definitely think they're going to keep it close today. I'm going with Rex, man. I'm going with our death taxes in Bama first half. It's -6. I do understand that everything looks like Tennessee is going to make this game close, but I can see just some weird shit happening. So, and if you can get Jahmyr Gibbs at 26.5, I think that's what you said, JD, receiving yards, take that all day. Like, I don't know what the hell the books are thinking about that. They must have went to Tennessee. We're going to go, Sam, undo your headphones real quick. I got Florida over 25.5 points today. They gonna run that ball. They gonna run that ball. And I also have the over in the game. I think you guys are gonna be better this week, though.
Can I just say this?
Yes, go ahead.
The last 2 seasons, there's been absolutely no reason for LSU to win either game. They were 27-point dogs last time they went to Florida, and they won outright. They shouldn't have won last year. Like, Ed Orgeron basically got fired the week before, and they came out in a noon game and ran for the school record in rushing yards. Like, LSU Florida makes absolutely no sense. I know they say LSU Auburn makes no sense, but LSU Florida has made absolutely no sense. And guess what? I don't care as long as I get to tweet that it sucks to be a Florida Gator video at the end of the day. And I hope that's what we get. So I'm going to keep running that bitch up. LSU's dominated this series in the last since 2010, since Urban Meyer left. So yeah, I understand, like, things don't look good, but this series does not make any sense.
Yeah, and that's why I don't want to take Florida. Like, I think they're trying to give you Florida as like, oh, come on, LSU looked trash last week. Florida looked okay. Florida's been very mid too. Like, but I just think they're going to be able to score points, and obviously Anthony's going to give a different threat of running the ball. So yeah, give me the team totals only. And then y'all know to cap it off, man. It's homecoming. You taking your girl or your side chick, whoever, whoever's available that Saturday, to the dance, you go to the game, you go to a little parade on Friday, you have fun with it. All right. So we're going Georgia Bulldogs over 47.5 points. Okay. We haven't had a Georgia bet in since week 1, honestly. Okay. And I've been waiting because these numbers have been crazy. And I wanted to take the number last week, but I was like, I don't know. But it's homecoming, baby. Vandy allows 300, 400 yards per game on defense. So, look, I think the running backs, if you could take every running back to score in a parlay, I'd do it. They're just going to run all over them. So, give me the Dogs, 47.5 team total. And that's it.
Got one question from the
Roddy won't be serving Vandy those papers today. What's your question, Sam?
No, we just have one in the comments.
This is one of those scheduled losses, man. Whenever they go in conference, they know what time it is.
Under.
Yeah,
I took Minnesota minus
right?
6.5, but I'm not confident enough to
Illinois
make that
just
play.
wins close games under at home, under Bielema. really my only thoughts here, and then just off the top of my head, dumb brain Sam style, Minnesota should roll them, but Illinois just has that weird home funk.
I have one more. Texas, Illinois, or Iowa State. Someone talked me off Iowa State plus 15.5.
Quinn Ewers, the GOAT.
Look ahead spot. They got,
Quentin Ewers season.
but they
I
got
really-
they got at Oklahoma State next week.
I got really
Yeah,
close,
but-
Sam. The way I talk myself off is Iowa State's offense just stinks.
Okay, that's all I
But-
needed. I've been hovering over that one for the entire morning. I just want to take it so bad.
I looked at the first half though with Texas. Like if you're gonna go Texas, because I wouldn't
Yeah.
go the full game either.
All right.
Well, we're
that's
right at that 1 hour mark. We appreciate everyone tapping in with us today. Everyone that liked, followed, retweet, subscribed, and shared that out today. All the commenters. It was a banger of an episode, and we got a beautiful slate starting right in a half hour. So get where you need to get located to. Hope everybody has a great day. Make sure to be following all of us on Twitter as well to tweet at us when our picks lose, because it's usually the only time we get tweets, but we appreciate everyone tapping in. Until next week, and then as Thursdays as usual, DFS with JD. We out.
Let's go win some money.
Let's go.